are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my boy, 12 years of trunk garbage. It's Zach Elias. What's up, buddy?
And a pad and paper with my rankings, baby. Old school. Dialing it back. How you been?
Did you get the new car? Are we at 0 days of trunk garbage?
No, we have plenty of trunk garbage. It's just same garbage, new trunk, which is smaller. Our golf clubs have to go crisscross. But we got it. Yeah, there was a bit of a meltdown in the showroom when I went and certain features that were promised weren't on the one that actually showed up. And I was yelling at the guy, called him a liar. To the manager goes, "Do you guys need to go into a room to yell? Because you can't yell at on the showroom." I go, "Wait, you guys have a rage room here?" I was so excited that Ramsey Acura has a rage room. And then I quoted Johnny Drama. The best thing to do with mistakes is not make them. When you do make them, the next best thing to do is make them right. Now, my issues all became rubber floor mats that made everything go away. So like 12 cents worth of rubber calmed me the fuck down. But at least I got my punches in.
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. That Tuesdays we do it live. Saturdays we post it later. We hope everybody's joining in. Rate the episodes, give us 5 stars, and share it with a friend. If you're watching on Facebook, wherever you are, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're everywhere. We love the comments. We love the feedback.
We do. Bring it.
We got a fun episode for today, something we had talked about for a while, and then many, many more things. But we always like to sit back, have a little beer. Zacharias, why don't you tell everybody what you are drinking?
To make space in my fridge, I'm going to drink 2 Amstel Lights because I got 1,000 of them in there. Oh, what are you drinking?
Keeping it at the Saranakakak Brewery.
You want to know by now.
Trying to coordinate with today's episode. It's called Clouded Dream IPA. Soft, hazy, juicy. I do like they put periods in that. It's an IPA, 6.8% alcohol. Ay, 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 ay.
Yeah, what does that do with the Oscars? Any of it?
Because we're talking about the Oscars today. This is going to be episode 171, the Oscars. So it's La La Land is Hollywood, you fuck. They made a movie about it. So
right.
Dreams, La La. Work with me here, dude. Amstel.
No, I will absolutely not, actively not work with you. This is more Hollywood than what you're drinking.
Release the Kraken!
Kraken's plural. My fridge is stuffed.
L'chaim.
L'chaim is right. Happy Purim. Boo Heyman.
One of my patients today said something like, "Oh, happy Purim." I said, "Are they hanging him again?"
Oh!
What? We can't say that.
I think you can.
Zachy, we did this last year. Do you remember when we did Oscars things last year? Or actually, no, because you don't remember anything. And I said,
Goldfish. Who are you again? Who else? Callback.
That was a good callback. I said, I hope we do this every year. So we've officially made it to our second annual Oscars. Okay, I'll stop. But what we're going to be doing today, I guess the good thing is that none of these movies that we're talking about today have truly epic. Definitely not good. But none of them have these big twists that we're ruining for people. But we're going to go through and try to give some honest.
Tar had a great twist at the end. The last 7 minutes actually got good. That's the twist.
Okay, guess what? We're going to be starting off. We're doing reverse order. I ranked all of them.
I didn't see just the cards on the table. I didn't see.
We can get into that. Okay. So, in my reverse order for these movies, and I actually have Vegas's odds here. So, my number 10 movie, by the way, 10 freaking Oscar movies. When did they stop?
20. I don't know, man. Like, all of them are.
At some point, because when it went from 5 to 8, I was like, that's insane. They're not going to do more. And then they did.
That's too many. 10's too many.
My number 10, we made it, 20 minutes in. Tar was some of the biggest piece of shit I've ever watched in my life. Vegas has that. I think it's like the 6th ranked movie at plus 6,500. It was 10 minutes in.
Money.
10 minutes in, and I'm like, this better get better. And then we both kind of spaced out for 15 minutes. And then we looked at each other like, I'm not, okay, we're turning this off.
We did Tar in 2 sittings because Jenna was out to the world and woke up. The last 40 minutes gets tolerable. The last 5 to 10 are actually pretty good. She does tackle someone like a conductor. It should have opened with that. It was really, really slow and rough.
This movie was a dramatization of a documentary, basically. Like, it was really bad.
And if it wasn't about Yo-Yo Ma, I really don't care about cellists. Like,
saw him live.
And you don't think me seeing Collective Soul is cool, but you saw Yo-Yo Ma?
I saw Yo-Yo Ma in Greece at the Parthenon in the little amphitheater that Dionysus gave everybody diabetes.
That was excellent. Did you come up with that Dionysus Diabetes on the fly?
I dropped that there because we're going around when we were actually at the Parthenon, and they're telling us stories about the Greek gods, aka cartoon stories for little kids. And he's like, and Dionysus went around and gave everybody wine, and I was like, and then they all died of diabetes, and nobody laughed. I was like, I turned to Julia, I was like, that was actually pretty funny. I thought that was
pretty good. I thought you said I thought you dropped the diabetes.
I didn't say diabetes back then, but okay. I have nothing more to say about Tar other than I'm not watching Tar 2, as you say, Tarier, or Tar 3, Tariest.
Yeah, Cellist Revenge.
Can we move on?
Yeah, Tar was terrible.
Tar was absolutely horrible.
By the way, my sassy friend Molly, when she watched Tar, stopped and took a picture. Goes, why don't they teach anyone in Hollywood how to run? This is Kate Blanchett is just running so awkwardly. I hadn't seen it yet. As I was watching it, that was the highlight. Watching her run, thinking about Molly's like she doesn't know how to run. She has no clue.
My number 9 movie, I only put it number 9.
You watched all 10? Banged them all out?
I only put this higher than Tar because I imagined there was a story, but we made it about 10 more minutes into women talking. By the way,
for me. Didn't see that one.
Spoiler, it's about women talking. That's literally what it's about.
God.
The fact that it had What's-Her-Face, who's just, an Oscar darling, good for
Frances
them.
McDormand?
It's one of the...
Her best role was Meeting My Mom at Fairway or Cinderella.
Starring in Meeting... Go ahead.
Meeting Betsy. Yeah. So my mom loves her. And she walked up to her and goes, I just want to tell you that I think you're incredible. And Frances McDormand goes, at shopping? It was amazing.
That's great.
And that was just it. That was their interaction. Almost as good as the Paul Simon backing into her. But
as far as Vegas goes, this is tied for DFL. And if you put $100 down, you get $10,000 back if it wins Best Picture.
You should get $10 million. Like, at some point, it's just fake money. You should just win the casino. You're the new keys. Here's Harris. Enjoy. Up there with the Triangle of Sadness. You saw that shit, too?
My number 8, I got to be honest, I didn't see, I probably won't see, and I don't care because I suffered through the first one, otherwise known as Pocahontas with blue people. Avatar, for me, is, I don't know why I didn't see it, but I've seen enough to go.
It.
You're all good. The floor is yours, my
what
friend.
You got?
I haven't seen it, and I couldn't find a paid version online. It's also tied for DFL for plus 10,000.
It's not going to win. Look,
you think?
I saw it in IMAX with Eric, your boy, and Jenna. He was packing a feed bag. Popcorn with candy poured into it, and a Spriola, as you say. He brought his own snacks, Mr. Big Shot. Anyway, so it was good. It was fun. The cinematography, while granted all CGI, was amazing. Like, it was shot low, so you actually feel like you're in the water. I couldn't tell you what the plot was about. Blue people doing things. But, yeah, it was the Smurfs on crack. But nevertheless, it held my interest for 2.5 hours, which is more than I could say for Tar, and more than I could say for, other things, too.
I have a question.
You don't get it?
Why are all these movies 2+ hours?
Every movie.
What the hell?
I was pumped to see that, like, the Top Gun was like an hour 58. It just got on under or something like that. Like, good Lord, why can't this be an hour and a half comedy anymore? Like, big.
My number 7, also, we made it about halfway. We didn't hate it. We just haven't gone back to it, was The Fabelmans. But
I liked it. Higher than that.
It's basically just Spielberg telling a story about himself. And
I don't know. I put it at 4.
It's going off at plus 2,900, which is ranked, I think, 5th on their list. So I have it as 7. It wasn't great. It's basically Michelle Williams carrying a cast as far as acting.
No, I like the kid. I like the guy who played Spielberg. And I liked when he went to high school. You didn't get to high school yet or not?
I think they just moved when I stopped.
Yeah, I put it at 4. I don't know. Jen and I both quite liked it. I don't know why. It spoke to me. It's Jewy. I don't know. Lumsman.
I have a funny story that maybe I shouldn't say, but
no, you got to. That's
one of Julia's coworkers got, I think, like a package, like a Christmas package, and like he just says, "Who is this Paul Dano that they? I'm not him. Like, why did I get this?" And Julia's like, "Wait, did you not see Batman?" He goes, "No, I did." And he goes, "Remember the guy, the Scarecrow?" He goes, "Oh," he goes, "That's Paul Dano."
Who gives a shit? Did he not see The Girl Next Door? Oh, loved him in that.
Dan Amora is my better reference for him.
He was good in that too.
What? Anything else you want to say about this movie?
No, I like The Fabelmans. I thought I didn't need Seth Rogen. He was a bit wasted in it, and the story was the story. And I don't get Michelle Williams. Everybody loves her but me. I'm missing what everyone else is getting.
She's a good actress. There's nothing more.
Sure, she is. I like the kid. I liked him. I like the I don't know. I like this family movie.
You know how a lot of times you and I do these lists and it's like, well, I really struggled. I didn't know where to put this. Know this list, how easy it was for me? I ranked which movie I hated the least and just kept moving down because it gets bad. My number 6, sit down. The Banshees of Ed Sheeran was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It hasn't aged well for me. I think I liked it when I saw it. I think I liked it.
There
I
was
supposed to like it. Every day that goes by, I like it less. The fingers really freaked me out.
Oh, that was the only good part. When the guy actually is at the bar and he's playing the violin with his stump, he's just shaking it in the air.
I thought the truly best person or actor or anything in it was the donkey, who was delightful.
Agreed.
It was like live action Eddie Murphy. He was fantastic. The donkey, that was the gut wrenching when he went.
We almost didn't make it.
Dies.
Spoiler. We almost didn't make it through the movie when they have the border collie and then Colin Farrell goes to light the house on fire, and Julia had to pause the movie, run upstairs, Google, does the border collie die in this movie? Because if it does, we weren't finishing it. Spoiler, it doesn't die.
Yeah.
And then we finished the movie. But if you read the description of this movie, it's like an epic tale of two friends. You know what it was? Two guys. The one guy didn't want to be his friend and started chopping off his fingers because he didn't want him to talk to him anymore. I just saved everybody 2 hours.
My question, and I asked this to Jenna, what were all of their vocations? One was, I guess, a musician. There was a bartender. What the hell else did the rest of them do for work? They just moved a lot. They walked around a lot. One had a donkey, and then they all went to the bar.
You know, this was
Ireland.
It was set in the 20s.
Right.
So, but I think they were trying to make it like Colin Farrell might have been special. I couldn't quite get the other guy with
every other movie he's been in.
Not like a special role.
I know.
Okay.
Like every other movie he's been in, he's a little bit.
Minority Report's a top movie. Don't start with me.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But the fact that this movie, he got nominated and the other guy like from Harry Potter.
Hamish,
so I was like,
or whatever. Wasn't he in Braveheart, that guy?
He might have been, but he's Mad Eye Moody in Harry Potter. And they even threw him a bone. They let him host SNL. This was one of those movies that I just like,
he is not the Penguin.
Colin Farrell was the Penguin.
Wrong.
You're wrong. In the last
There's
movie,
only one.
Oh.
Danny DeVito is the Penguin, and there is no other. The Penguin.
Columbus was a hero in this house.
In this house, yeah. I am Batman.
I have a great story. I'm going to be doing a recap, I think, next week of my Costa Rica trip. I have a gem. Banshees for me, which is going off so high, dude. Banshees is the number 2 favorite to win Best Picture at plus 1,100. So you put down $100.
I think it was the first of these movies that I saw, and I'm like, oh, that was good, I think. I think I'm supposed to like it, so it was good. Hasn't aged well with me.
Same.
Jenna hated it. So it's stupid movie or so.
Put down 100, you win $1,100 if that wins Best Picture. That's actually a decent bet as if you're a betting person, but absolutely horrible. My number 5 movie plus 8,000 didn't need to be made. I've been to Graceland. I like the music.
Well, hold on a second. How high are you ranking this Triangle of Sadness that I haven't seen? Is that thing fire for you? We'll get to it. I didn't see Elvis.
The Elvis movie, it didn't need to be made. They try to do like you remind me of like a 30 for 30. It was a new spin on an old tale because they tell the story from the Tom Hanks' character of the manager and whatever. And you just know a lot of stuff. But you know what my one big takeaway was? And I guess I've heard this before. Do the math. Elvis was in the army. He was, 20, 22. He met Priscilla when she was 14. And then they started dating and she got married at 18. But they had been dating for a couple of years. Elvis was banging like a 13 or 14-year-old Priscilla.
Rock star.
My God. That was one of those like, okay, but I like Elvis's music. I did enjoy that it was kind of a new spin on an old tale, but it didn't need to be made. And the only good thing was the guy who, Austin Butler, I think his name was, he actually did a lot of the singing in the movie, so give him credit. But
SNL star.
You know, my big beef with these movies is they're just going to keep making biopics forever, and I didn't need this.
Well, until our biopic gets made.
Who would play you in a biopic?
At this point, I don't know. Maybe an aging Jason Biggs.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Is Fred Savage still a thing?
Ben, you could probably get Ben.
You could probably get him on the cheap. Yeah. Clear his schedule. Who would play you? Sandler with the bald cap?
Yeah. Sandler with he's going to have to lose some weight for this role.
Yeah. Sandler and Ben Savage are Booze Your Daddy, the musical.
Do you know what I got a notification? I got a notification the other day on Google Finance that BYD, it's like a gaming company, had reported and did well. I think it's like $60 a share. I bought one just because.
So you're, was it buying Monica? Is that what? If I invested in myself?
I guess. The favorite for the Oscars going off at minus 700, which means you have to put up $700.
How are you explaining gambling to our audience?
For just winning 100 is, and I had to write it down because I've butchered this a million times, everything, everywhere, all at once. This is one of the more polarizing movies. Now,
I put it at 3. Jenna fell asleep and hated it.
We both have it up there, and I liked that it was a movie. I had to watch it, one, because of the Asian parts of it when your roommate basically is Asian, and
I had to watch The Fabelmans.
And they work for the company that made it, which is getting all the rage. And I don't know if you heard, but they just did a big auction the other day, and the hot dog hands went for like 50 grand. Somebody bought those things for. It's absolutely insane. But this
girl
movie
who plays the bad guy, great in Maisel as May, crushed it in this week's Poker Face. Knocked it out of the park.
I'm like,
she's in it. She's unreal. Maybe the best side character of all.
There's no time for love, Dr. Jones. I want him to win. The little guy, Lifelong Achievement Award. That's who I'm rooting for. I thought Homegirl was great in Crazy Rich Asians.
I didn't know that was who it was. I didn't do research. And when that thing comes on, I yell, "Oh my God, is that Data?" And Jenna's like, "Who?" I go, "It's Data from the Goonies." Yeah.
So this is one of those movies.
The same guy.
You remember that movie, I think it was Mother back in the day with Jennifer Lawrence? It was so polarizing that half the people I know loved it, the other half of people walked out. This movie is also getting that review. I'm on the not loving it side.
I liked it. I thought it was quirky and weird. And I like things that are weird and out there, but somehow come together at the end.
It was, but this is a movie where if you've never seen a movie about alternate dimensions, it's pretty basic. I've seen Futurama did an episode just like this. That's way better.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Futurama's Katie Seagal.
Bender's up there as far as a character. I mean, he was a really good.
He was okay. Okay. No, I liked Everything Everywhere. I didn't love it. I think it's more like goofy though. It's more like Kung Fu Hustle. It's not like a Best Picture kind of thing. It's
agreed, but it starts
goofy, but it's cool and it's fun. It's just
when you say goofy, do you mean a goofy movie?
Yeah, it's just quirky and weird and. It's Kung Fu Hustle meets Fight Club or something. It's just weird and out there. 12 Monkeys. It didn't need to be, it's been done to death. They just did a better job of it. But
agreed.
Sure.
I liked when it started out with the whole Asian you can't do good enough for me Tiger Mom thing, and then it just turned into a slapstick movie with Jamie Lee Curtis. I was out.
I like the slapstick part more. That's what got me.
As Randy Jackson would say, didn't work for me, dog.
It worked.
I
put that as 2. I put Avatar as 2 just because I saw it in 4D or whatever. It was fun. It was out there, but yeah.
My number 3, I could have moved this higher. Hear me out. I watched an hour of, how long was it? 158 was Top Gun. I watched an hour 30 of it, fell asleep, haven't gone back to it, which is why it's not higher. It was fantastic.
You know what? You know what it is on my list? And maybe it's the most recent one I watched. 1. And I'll tell you why.
I'm okay with that.
The whole movie could have been him on the motorcycle with the planes going and the Kenny Loggins. Like, rock hard. 6 to midnight. All the nostalgia. Also, that's the only one Jenna stayed up the entire time.
Best Picture or just a movie that you're like, yeah, this is great?
What's the difference?
No, this is a movie.
They play Great Balls of Fire. They have all the callbacks. I texted a buddy of mine right afterwards. What? No Tom Skerritt? His answer immediately. Dude, he's 89.
I'm just saying this movie is basically one of those, if it didn't get nominated, you never would have saw it. There would have been a Saturday night, you said, give me a movie. I would have said Top Gun 2. It has all the hits. And you would have loved it.
All the notes.
And you would have loved it, but it's not a great movie.
It should have been awful. The fact that it actually is halfway decent is a miracle. Ed Harris is in it for 12 seconds. Like it checks a lot of boxes for me. But if you weren't an 80s kid or like an early 90s kid, if you're watching this like now for the first time, why? What is this? It was pure nostalgia, and it did a really good job of it.
Top Gun Maverick plus 2,900. It is the 4th favorite as far as Vegas betting odds.
So I catch Top Gun shouldn't have been made, but it was. Exactly. And here we go. It was great. Meanwhile, speaking of running in a movie, he runs about 6 miles through snow in about 8 seconds. Guy's a fucking athlete. In full gear with a parachute with a helicopter chasing him. Tom Cruise.
My number 2, I'd seen this. My number 2, I had watched maybe like 5th or 6th as far as all these movies and was so bored with no plot, don't care. All Quiet on the Western Front. I didn't love the story. Granted, it was subtitles. It actually has a beginning.
You watched it in German? I watched it dubbed.
It had a beginning, middle, and end of the movie. That's all I want. Give me a plot and a story. It was nice.
Top Gun gave you that.
Get out of here, Zach. It's not furry. Top Gun was a movie. All Quiet was a film.
Ugh. So I watched All Quiet. It's subtitled. Not subtitled, dubbed. I'm not reading for 2.5 hours. Now, for me, it was fine. It was, as Randy Jackson would say, dog. It's every war movie that's ever been made. Now, I know it was World War I. However, I never loved rooting for the German guy or like having it be from their point of view. I was sort of rooting for the French guys.
You have a very good friend that we were talking about watching World Cup soccer, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't care if the Germans win. I'm over that." I was like, "It was bad." We were sitting
My friend?
Yeah.
That idiot?
Yeah.
That guy's rooting for Team Germany.
He says
that's his go-to.
He goes, we were just talking as far as like
when America's out, he's all in on the Germans. Is it Germans?
He just said that if it's German versus France, he's not immediately going towards France, which I'll be honest.
That's a tough call.
It could literally be anything versus Germany. I'm not rooting for him.
Yeah, you can't.
I know, but your boy's he's all over World War II. I'm not.
Where was his family? Long Island?
North Shore.
Yeah.
For me, Zachy, All Quiet is the third favorite, is going off at plus 1,400, which if I was going to bet, I'd throw money probably off Banshees of Ed Sheeran. But that movie, now, it's never going to win, and it wasn't even a great movie. None of them were good. If I've ever stood on top of a chair and said, watch this, don't watch this, all of these movies are so skippable. But Triangle of Sadness.
That's Duke.
In a list, this is basically like the NIT. So
this is NC State. This is Jim Valvano.
This is a movie that had 3 parts that are the most incongruent parts ever. But part 1, actually, the opening credits is a guy doing modeling. Spoiler alert, it's called The Triangle of Sadness. It has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. But they give you the ghost at the beginning when he's modeling, and the model guy calls him and goes, you have to get rid of that triangle of sadness right above your eyes.
Why did I have that?
I don't know what the purpose of that was, but that was why.
Got the hairline of shame.
The first third of the movie is him and a girlfriend on a date arguing over the check. Nothing special, great. The second part of the movie, I'm not going to ruin anything, but it has Woody Harrelson, who is annihilated drunk in the movie. There's a couple, Julie and I were cackling laughing on the couch, and it was not supposed to be funny. It was pretty terrible. And then the last third of the island, it's basically Gilligan's Island.
This is your one.
This is my one because all of these movies sucked.
And what was the best movie you saw this year then?
The Whale. We went over this last week.
I didn't see The Whale, yeah.
The Whale was a better film, and all of these were terrible. I hated every one.
So I tried to download The Whale or to get it on it. I won't pay more than $5 for it. $19 for Brendan Fraser is ridiculous. Not doing it. Send me the link that you bought it from.
I'll send you the link I bought it from. But I meant to tell you about All Quiet on the Western Front. We're Googling. Do you know how much that movie was made for? This is impressive.
Like Clerks?
20 mil. Was that whole war movie for like $20 million? Amazing.
Name a guy in it besides the bad guy from Inglourious Bastards.
He was in it?
Yeah, he was the
he wasn't.
liaison. Yeah, he was. No, not that guy. The German war hero that they made the movie about.
Okay.
Whatever.
I know none of them.
Fine.
Triangle of Sadness, all I'm saying is
he should have been in it.
Terrible movie, but there was a plot, and when I tell you we were dying laughing in the middle at a part that's not supposed to be funny. Simple as that.
Okay. For me, I thought the best movie that I saw that wasn't even nominated was The Menu. I thought the thing was good.
I meant to get to that.
I liked it. It was weird. I find her to be delightful. The Queen's Gambit girl.
Zachy, what you watching, or sure you didn't get to anything else? Just all of these.
I've been plowing through these like an animal. I'm watching Tar.
Do me.
New one? Do you?
Do me.
All right, Horseshack. Ooh. Only Ron Katz will get that.
Stop it. Gabe Kaplan. What school do you think he went to, Gabe Kaplan?
That seems on brand.
So
Wagyu High like you?
I went to Netflix after last week's episode for my flight, and on the way to
Fletch?
I didn't say anything. You've been texting me about Fletch. I haven't responded to a single thing. I downloaded it. I watched the whole thing.
And?
I'm going to say one, I didn't hate it, but I have a couple comments about it. The first one was, you know how I didn't see Shawshank Redemption till like last year? And then I basically said, this was good, but there's been so many other movies that have been made that are better. And everybody goes, yeah, but it was the first one like 25 years ago. Fletch is a earlier, not as good version of Ace Ventura. It's kind of
so much better.
Ace Ventura is so much better.
The script is the star of Fletch.
There was definitely a couple scenes I laughed out loud.
Dr. Rosenpenis, when I texted you that earlier, you must have been dying.
I did, but I didn't want to give it to you. But for me, seeing George Wendt where he's just a nobody, right? Because he's not on Cheers. Although he's Sudeikis' uncle or some shit, right?
Sounds about right.
It's guy's uncle. Jason Sudeikis' mom, his last name is Wendt. It's his uncle. And Uncle Phil getting work back in the day.
He was getting work.
It was funny. There had some great
George
moments.
Weiner was great as the Arnold T. Pants.
There were some great parts of it. It's just one of those things. I heard a podcast the other day where it's this new age Mexican comic who is shitting all over George Lopez, going, that man's comedy is so corny. And the people on there are going like, yeah, dude, but 30 years ago, there were no Mexican comics. Like he was it and he was doing it. And then he's like, okay, I guess. For me, Fletch was basically good, but it was the prelude to so many other better movies. It doesn't hold up is what I'm saying.
Do you want to see pictures from the reception? No, I'm trying to quit. And he holds his stomach. Amazing. It's nothing better than that.
Zacharias, you got anything quirky you want to get jerky about?
Yeah, I had a few.
Go ahead.
I didn't know if we were going to do this, so I didn't know how long this was going to go. But what do we have here? Why is he taking forever to load? A liquor store on the Upper West Side fined $100,000 for selling fake bourbon in a big scandal.
Fake bourbon, what was it? A different alcohol or just didn't have alcohol?
No, it was just like they said it was like a old bottle and it was going for $1,000 a pop and it was like Pruno. It was like shit bourbon. They were just marking it up and making it into a whole big thing. $100,000 in fines. Wow. What else did I find charming? Other stuff that I had. Oh, yeah, so
killing me, Smalls.
All right, calm down with you. Ford, do you know what they're doing these days? If you don't pay your lease money, they can turn off your AC and they can lock you out of your car.
We talked about this. I think it was like another car company. Maybe it was like Lexus or BMW. This was a feature you had to pay for or some shit.
I didn't know that. But no. Now they're cracking down. If you don't pay, you don't get in.
No tiki, no washi?
Exactly. That's always your house. But yeah, that's insane. You don't pay your lease, you get locked out.
Why is that so insane?
I don't know. It's great, but and my alma mater. You think you're ranked at 3 for a party school? UMass should have. That's an upset. Dozens of UMass students in hospital over dangerous Borg TikTok booze trend. Now, these kids can't hold their booze like we could in the day. I gotta tell you.
What's a Borg TikTok?
There's all blackout rage gallons dubbed Borgs. It's just like, so you put it in like Poland Spring bottles of, mystery drink and you chug it down and then you got to go to the, UMass doctors. You're better off on your own. I got to tell you, you're better off just back alleying it. These kids can't drink like we could in the day.
University of Maryland. At Maryland, one time I got sick. I went to the student health center and they gave me something oral to take. And I'm
sure they did.
As I'm sitting there, I open it up and I almost started to drink it. And I read the thing. It was eardrops. They gave me the wrong medicine.
That sounds about right. That'll get you there, though. I think this was the community I lived in UMass. Look at these assholes. These fucking massholes. These kids can't. They can't hang. That's what I got. What's going to your gears?
Pishadoo of the week. I got 9 things. Let's get through them. First one's pretty easy. I got an email the other day at my work computer. It was officially dubbed Zero Discrimination Day.
Wait, your work computer is just your computer. Isn't it like your car's console?
You know that I do part-time work for a company, okay?
Okay, so it's not the drive-through intercom.
Zero Discrimination Day. Tell me, what makes this day different from all other days? Am I allowed to discriminate today? Like, what?
A little bit.
Get the hell out of there. Like, we got to tell people.
If that's 0 day, then at least like you can go up to a 5 on most days.
I thought that was just an insane email to get. Candidate number 2, the 76ers are lobbying hardcore so their players can wear the jersey number 0.
Why?
These are the problems we have in the NBA right now.
Gilbert Arenas did it. He worked out.
That's what they're trying to bring it back.
Gilbert Arenas, yeah.
Did you hear about the French Michelin star restaurant that had 3 Michelin stars and they just got 1 taken away and they're suing Michelin?
Why did they get demoted?
Maybe the food's not as good, but even so, Zach, I've never eaten in a 2-star Michelin restaurant. Still pretty good. Like,
what's the 2-star ones? I know about a few 1-star ones I've been to.
Yeah, so have I. But like, you're down to 2 stars and they're suing over this?
How many is LeBernard Den?
You have a phone. You have a lawyer. I don't know.
Yeah, you're both of those. I have a lawyer. I do have a will lawyer. Do I have a lawyer? If I get sued, what do I do? I guess
speak of the devil.
I can't talk to my uncle. You have a
Candidate number 4, Giannis Antetokounmpo, however you say it. Did you see he got a triple double the other night?
Not.
He got a triple double
via. They took it away.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
basically,
they rectified it.
He pulled the Ricky Davis where he just needed 1 more rebound. So on his own basket, he just shoots it at the rim to get it right back.
He's 7'9". If you can't get 10 rebounds in a game, pack it up.
It's not 7'9".
No, I know. He's not George Muresan. That guy was the best.
Dead.
They're all dead. Those guys are 7'9" and can't live like that.
Chris Brown went viral the other night where he's out in the middle of a crowded party and he's smoking a cigarette. And then you see the other hand come up and he does one of these little looky, like, and then back to the cigarette. And you're like, he definitely just did coke in the open of everybody. Like, what an idiot. What are you doing?
Should be illegal. Everything should be illegal.
Next candidate. Tell me you heard about the XFL quarterback who gave the team's playbook to the other team and then got caught and was kicked off of the team.
Why did you give the other teams call?
I assume it's money or power.
Who's betting on those games? You know what? You could probably clean up. Those things are probably a shit show. If you watch 20 minutes, you're going to know who's good for the next week. You could probably make a fortune on that thing.
All right. These last 3 one of these is going to win. Keeping it with the NBA, like the Sixers don't have problems. Well, the Grizzlies have problems because a future star, or would have been, John Morant went live on Instagram holding a gun.
Yeah. Because when you're in the NBA, you've got to bring a gun to a strip club. It's almost the law. Like, it's a time-honored, hallowed tradition that you bring guns to strip clubs.
Like no other.
Like no other, right. Now, the times now are different at Twitter and TikTok. You used to just have it go off and then the cops come. Those were the days.
Did you just call it TikTok?
TikTok. Is TikTok a thing? We should invent it if it's not.
Oh, yes. I like it.
Just schlongs everywhere. Just spawns. You can
I don't want to.
You get Bo and Yang to sponsor it. It'd be fine.
All right, these last 2, I'm not sure which one's my favorite. Let's just go with the one that I heard now. Did you see this past week, the NFL released all their report card grades for the NFL teams where it was the facilities, the training staff, and there was...
What did the Jets get? Fs across the board?
I don't care. Well, it sparked a Ravens controversy because I think their rehab team got really poor grades, and then so many Ravens players from the past came out and were like, oh yeah, it's horrible there. And it starts a big controversy. But the favorite one that I heard, the Cardinals are they got Fs for ownership because the owners charge them money to take food home from the place.
Ooh, that's not good.
Their strength and conditioning apparently is worse than most colleges that have facilities there.
Look at Kyler.
It was so bad. But the fact that this cheap-ass owner is charging his players for food when they're training and doing... Like, what an idiot. For me...
paying them millions to play a kid's game, but...
For me, that was one of my favorites. But I have a feeling it's going to lose because Mr. former MVP Joey Votto went absolutely batshit. He came out and predicted 2 things. Which one do you think is worse? 1... aliens are going to invade, and 2, the Reds are going to win the World Series.
I think the aliens have a better shot. I'm pretty sure that Independence Day comes before the Reds.
Tell me, there's a story from back in the day that's so good. Whenever he would go to St. Louis, he would get into a cab, and he would drive around with the cab driver and go, who won the NL MVP in 2010? And like apparently that was like Albert Pujols' best season ever.
Yeah.
And every cab driver goes, I think it was Albert Pujols. He goes, nope, it was Joey Votto. Just a shit on him.
You know why he went on DL one time for 2 weeks? Because he got chlamydia, apparently. He said it was so painful. Like, that he had a, quote, virus. Now, he must slay in Cincinnati, but the talent pool was not great. But, you know.
Zero discrimination.
5 twos is a 10, so.
Zero discrimination day. Sixers want jersey 0. Michelin star restaurant. Giannis' triple-double. Chris Brown doing the XFL quarterback sells the playbook or gives it away. John Morant gun pick. Cardinals headquarters not living up. And Joey Votto's predictions. What you got?
I think it's John Morant because he's a star. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
like, why is he in a strip club? He's got enough money. He can have the strip club come to him.
I actually didn't know he was in a strip club. I just know he went live on Instagram holding a gun.
He's an idiot. But like, if you want to do that, have him be on a shooting range. You don't need a gun. Just have all the girls come to you. He's John Morant. He could give a 9-some right now if he wants one. Like, what are we doing?
9-some?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it is Memphis. There's a lot of bachelorette parties there, aren't there?
It's going to tie into one of my things next week. All right, Zachy, it is officially March. Let's go through our guilty pleasures. Even though the actual first one says, are my
Heyman.
Shamrock showing, that guy is actually not the person who's on March. Instead, I wish they had names, by the way. I was looking for names, but we have caught between a rock and a hard place. Look at this yummy, yummy man.
Look at that hard place. Oh, God. I think he was in Banshees.
Boozer Daddy, the podcast. Thanks for listening to tonight's episode. We had fun ranking the Oscars, doing all this stuff. Zach, Lamar.
Do you actually watch the show, the Oscars? Is it a thing in your house?
I do.
Zachy comes over. She likes the red carpet. Then she yells at us for talking too loud. But she's always talking too loud.
Your mom has red carpet?
Oh!
Lamar Jackson up for 2 first-round picks. You want him?
Maybe. I'd rather that than potentially Rodgers, who gets you 2-year window to win. And it's an absolute spectacle. Rodgers! I would take Lamar. I mean, he's on the market these days. Both parties have pretty much said, we're tired of you.
We out.
Who's your quarterback?